When your great-grandparents threw a party in the Roaring Twenties, they weren't serving chips and dip. Their tables were loaded with elaborate finger foods and molded creations we've completely forgotten about today. Ever wonder why these once popular party foods disappeared? From the rich man's appetizer that cost a day's wages to the simple celery creation that appeared at every gathering, these 10 abandoned party favorites tell us more about the 1920s than any history book. Number 1. Stuffed mushrooms. Remember those fancy-sounding stuffed mushrooms your grandmother might have mentioned? Back in the Roaring Twenties, these weren't just a side dish. They were the ultimate party flex. When you put out a silver tray of stuffed mushrooms, you were essentially announcing to your guests, "Yes, I have exquisite taste and the cash to prove it." These weren't quick appetizers either. Hosts would spend hours perfecting these little bites of luxury. First, they'd carefully select plump button mushrooms, pop out the stems, and chop them into tiny pieces. Those stems would get mixed with a combination of fine breadcrumbs, fresh herbs, grated imported cheeses, and often bits of crispy bacon or sausage. Each mushroom cap became a tiny vessel of savory goodness. Number 2. Deviled eggs. If you thought those garnished mushrooms demonstrated culinary showmanship, they were merely the opening act to the real headliner of 1920s, buffet tables. That egg-shaped platter collecting dust in your grandmother's china cabinet? It wasn't just another serving dish. It was once the crown jewel of Prohibition-era entertaining, specifically designed for the most competitive party food of the decade, deviled eggs. These weren't just appetizers. In the social hierarchy of 1920s America, a woman's reputation could literally rise or fall based on her deviled egg execution. Brides received specialized egg plates as wedding gifts, essential equipment for their future hosting duties. The perfect filling was guarded like a state secret, with recipes passed down through generations, but never shared with potential social rivals. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great. Thank you so much. Now back to the video. Number 3. Oysters Rockefeller. While deviled eggs celebrated domestic skills, another 1920s delicacy signaled something more valuable: wealth itself. Ever wonder what appetizer was so luxurious they named it after America's first billionaire? Oysters Rockefeller emerged from Antoine's restaurant in New Orleans, but during Prohibition, serving this dish at home meant you weren't just wealthy, you were connected. The real star wasn't just the oyster, but the mysterious green topping that transformed it. Fresh oysters on the half shell were crowned with a secret sauce, blending butter, parsley, and other herbs, then baked until golden and bubbly. The exact recipe, still closely guarded nearly a century later, with rumors suggesting it contained a precise mixture of parsley, celery, scallions, and other green vegetables. Number 4. Divinity. While expensive seafood appetizers signaled wealth, true domestic prowess was measured by something far more ephemeral. Ever tried to make candy during a rainstorm? For the accomplished 1920s hostess, creating the perfect batch of divinity wasn't just about following a recipe. It was about battling the elements themselves in a high-stakes culinary gamble. This cloud-like confection earned its heavenly name, honestly. Making divinity was a test of patience and precision. Sugar and corn syrup had to be cooked to an exact temperature before being slowly poured into whipped egg whites, all while continuing to beat the mixture until it thickened enough to hold its shape. The process was so sensitive to atmospheric conditions that recipes came with weather warnings. Don't attempt on a rainy day was standard advice, as humidity prevented the candy from setting properly. Number 5. Relish trays. As sweet treats faded from American tables, another party fixture had a surprisingly strategic purpose beyond mere decoration. Did you know those colorful relish trays weren't just about looking pretty? In speakeasies and home gatherings of the 1920s, these vibrant arrangements were deliberately designed to make you drink more. A clever hostess trick during Prohibition that's been completely forgotten. Every respectable party table featured these colorful centerpieces, carefully arranged platters showcasing a rainbow of pickled and fresh vegetables. Creating the perfect relish tray was considered an art form. Hostesses would meticulously arrange celery sticks, carrot strips, radish roses, olives, and various pickles in elaborate geometric patterns or concentric circles on specialized, cut glass, or silver platters, transforming simple vegetables into impressive displays. The brilliance of relish trays went beyond appearances. Their salty, briny flavors deliberately encouraged guests to reach for another, often illegal, beverage, while providing a satisfying crunch that contrasted perfectly with softer party foods. This wasn't just food, it was strategic party planning at its finest. Number 6. Stuffed celery. While those relish trays showcased an array of colorful vegetables, another humble green stalk somehow commanded the spotlight at virtually every 1920s gathering. Would you believe that plain old celery, yes, that same vegetable now relegated to diet plates, was once considered essential party food? No hostess, whether hosting high society or family gatherings, would dream of omitting stuffed celery from her spread. This ordinary vegetable underwent a remarkable transformation in the hands of a skilled hostess. Crisp celery stalks became elegant vessels filled with savory cream cheese mixtures. The filling variations were endless: pimientos for color, chopped olives for brininess, crushed walnuts for texture, or fresh herbs for brightness. The combination created a perfect balance of cool crunch and rich creaminess that guests couldn't resist. Number 7. Italian meatballs. Polpette. Remember when America had a complicated relationship with immigrants? The 1920s saw strict quotas limiting immigration, yet ironically, one of the decade's most beloved party foods came straight from Italian kitchens. Those tiny, delicate meatballs, known as polpette, weren't just delicious. They were cultural ambassadors on silver serving trays. Unlike today's softball-sized versions drowning in spaghetti, 1920s polpette were elegant, bite-sized creations. Hostesses combined ground beef, pork, and veal with milk-soaked breadcrumbs, eggs, and aromatic Italian herbs. After frying them to golden perfection, they'd simmer these little flavor bombs in rich tomato sauce until they practically melted in your mouth. Number 8. Chicken a la king. As those Italian meatballs faded into mass-produced shadows of their former selves, another sophisticated dish suffered an even more dramatic fall from grace. In the glittering 1920s, no respectable dinner party was complete without chicken a la king, a dish that transformed simple poultry into a silky, sherry-kissed delicacy that screamed social status. The preparation wasn't just cooking, it was culinary theater. Hostesses would meticulously combine tender chicken pieces with sautéed mushrooms and colorful bell peppers in a velvety sauce that required perfect execution of a roux. The sauce, a careful balance of butter, flour, rich chicken broth, and cream, was often elevated with a splash of sherry that gave it that distinctive party flavor profile. Number 9. Waldorf salad. From one hotel kitchen masterpiece to another, did you know that beside chicken a la king, another New York creation was silently judging your social standing? In 1893, the Waldorf Astoria Hotel introduced what would become the ultimate statement salad of the 1920s, featuring just apples, celery, and mayonnaise. But don't let that simplicity fool you. By the time it reached the height of its popularity during the Roaring Twenties, this humble combination had evolved into something more elaborate. Walnuts became the essential fourth ingredient, hence finally earning the name Waldorf, while grapes sometimes made guest appearances, creating that perfect harmony of sweet, tangy, and crunchy that made taste buds dance. What truly elevated this dish to must-serve status wasn't just its flavor, though. Presentation transformed these everyday ingredients into edible art. Hosts would serve their Waldorf creations in gleaming crystal bowls, or, for those with extra time and artistic flair, in hollowed-out apple shells. Some arranged the salad on crisp lettuce beds, carefully garnishing with precisely placed walnut halves, or delicate celery leaves in patterns that showed both patience and design. Sense. Number 10. Jellied consommé. Names might impress at dinner parties, but there was something even more telling about your social status. a dish that required near-scientific precision to create. Enter jellied consommé, the quivering amber jewel of 1920s. Formal dining that separated serious hostesses from amateurs. This wasn't just soup, it was culinary theater that required days of dedicated work. Making proper consommé was like alchemy. You'd simmer beef for hours with vegetables and egg whites, then strain it repeatedly until it achieved an almost supernatural clarity. The real magic happened when gelatin transformed this liquid into a shimmering, delicate mold that caught the light like amber. One wrong step in the process, your consommé would be cloudy, an unforgivable failure in sophisticated circles. The presentation elevated this dish to art. Hostesses would unmold their consommé onto the finest china, often garnishing it with tiny, precisely cut vegetables arranged in geometric patterns or floral designs. Some ambitious entertainers created elaborate aspics where vegetables were suspended inside like colorful gems frozen in time. When served, the consommé would quiver slightly with each movement of the table, a mesmerizing effect that delighted guests. Serving jellied consommé wasn't really about flavor, which was quite subtle. It was a silent announcement that you understood the rules of formal dining. It told your guests that you had both the leisure time to spend days on a single course and the culinary knowledge to execute it perfectly. No other dish so clearly separated the true social elites from those merely pretending.